Hello, everyone. Welcome to the International Hoof-Care Summit Q&A. I'm your conference director, Jeremy McGovern. And before we jump into all of your questions, I'll get into a little bit about the summit. Now, of course, as you can see there on the screen, the summit is January 21st through 24th in Cincinnati, Ohio. It is held at the Duke Energy Center, which is a large conference center. And across the street from that is the the Hyatt, which is our overflow hotel. And then the main host hotel is the Hilton Netherland. And I'd encourage you to spend more time at the Hilton, book your room there as soon as possible. They do fill up. And as we go through the agenda, you'll see that it's kind of key to be at the Hilton because there's a lot of activity going on there. So before we get into the questions, let's talk a little bit about what's going on at the summit. And of course, we put together 4 days jam-packed with some very good sessions. And we've worked more than a year on putting these together. And I think you'll find a lot of these sessions very valuable. So let's start with Tuesday, and that's January 21st. And the day begins early. You want to get there early. We have sign-up sessions for 3 great 1-hour sessions, one put on by Life Data Labs, a hands-on session put on by Vet Tech, and another equine management session put on by SmartPack. If you're unable to get there that early, because these start at 8:30 a.m., these do repeat. They'll each be held 2 times. So those will run until about 1 p.m. And at 1 p.m., we'll launch the International Hoof-Care Summit, the official sessions, and that begins with a very new session. Previous years, we've always had the dissections, and I think we have a very fun, unique thing this year. We've brought back one of our top speakers from the entire history of the summit, Scottish Farrier Jim Ferry, and he'll team up with fellow Hall of Famer Craig Trinka. And this is a session put on by Anvil Brand, and it'll be a little lighthearted. You know, both of these guys are characters, and besides being containing a lot of information, a lot of helpful insight, I think you'll find it very entertaining. Following that, we'll get into Hayden Price, who we're bringing over from Wales, and he's presenting some of his research. Following that, we will get into the Hoof Care Product Knowledge Clinics, and these are put on by our 6 educational partners. And make sure you take that time to thank our educational partners for what they're doing with us. And those are Castle Plastics, Equine Digit Support System, Equine Lameness Prevention Organization, Life Data Labs, SmartPack, and Vet Tech. And thanks to all of them, we're able to put on the summit, and they will each do 3 20-minute product knowledge clinics, and these will be repeated. So if you want to see one and it's going on at the same time, don't worry. We'll have 2 more sessions, and make sure you bring a friend to the summit, and maybe you can split these up because these are always very valuable sessions, really fitting in a lot of terrific information in just 20 minutes. Okay. And then we will get into our roundtables. And again, that is why you want to be at the Hilton. The roundtables will begin in the late afternoon, early evening at the Hilton Netherland Hotel. Now, this year, we will repeat these sessions. And if you've never been on the roundtables, this is, I think, something very unique at the summit. Imagine getting dozens of farriers together in a room and hashing out some of the top issues in foot care. And we won't go through all of these, but you'll find that these sessions are all led by very good veterinarians and farriers. Some of the sessions will go through on Tuesday night, mechanics of and various footing types for the horse's job, chewing the club-footed horse, and how we look at the business of farriery. Wednesday at the summit will also begin early. Our first session is 8 a.m. and we'll get into looking at canker with Dr. Frank Riley and Dave Giza. Followed by that is, I think, one of the sessions I'm most excited about, and that's the Bernie Chapman Memorial Lecture. which is an annual tradition that's been put on by Life Data Labs throughout the summit. And we're bringing Martin Oosterlink over from the University of Ghent. And I think if you've read any foot care research, you will know that Martin name appears in a lot of interesting papers, and I think he's a dynamic speaker, and you'll get a lot out of this. Wednesday is important because this is where our trade show starts. Wednesday trade show session begins at 10 a.m. and lasts till 1 p.m. And we have another sold out trade show. This will be held at the Duke Energy Center, and you'll find 130 plus vendors there covering the whole gamut of foot care. And certainly the biggest equine foot care trade show you'll find in the world. That again will last until 1. We'll get into our classrooms, a wide assortment there. We have business, we have shoeing for specific needs. We have another session on following up on the earlier case study on canker. And then what we're doing here is holding a couple of classrooms with Mark Trussler and Steve Kraus that will then be repeated on Thursday. I think a lot of times one of the top things that people say about the summit is we provide too much information, and it's hard to choose what you can attend in these classroom breakouts. So 2 of these sessions by Steve Kraus and Mark Trussell will be repeated on Thursday. And if there's any sessions you want to read a little bit more out, I'd point you to ihcs2020.com, where you can read more about these in-depth sessions. Now there's another trade show session that runs from 3:30 to 7, and again it's in the Duke Energy Center, and then that will end our summit evening. Thursday, again another 8 a.m. start, great session on profitability by going with basic shoe modifications with farrier Paul Skaggs, and followed by I think one of the top draws we've always had at the summit. It's been quite a few years since we've had them, but I'm very, very happy that we're bringing back Mike Savaldi with a new presentation from him. All right, so if you're there on Thursday, make sure you get to our trade show. The last trade show session of the International Hoof-Care Summit in 2020 is going to be from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. again at the Duke Energy Center. And then after that, we'll have 5 more breakouts. Steve Kraus and Mark Trussler will be repeating theirs, but again, another wide assortment of subjects on therapeutic, shoeing for specific needs, and part of our business track. And I think getting some key insight that's going to help you take some ideas home and immediately build them into your practice. Later on, we'll have a few more sessions. Dr. Martin Oosterlink will have another session on limiting heel movement. Mark Trussler will present his fellowship with the Worshipful Company of Farriers research, and then Jim Ferry will cap out that day in the lectures with looking at the hoof in 3 dimensions. Now, we'll again have our roundtables. Our second set of roundtables will be Thursday evening, and that's in the Hilton Hotel. Something different we're doing this year with the roundtables, if you've been there. Previously, we've only had 1 session of roundtables on Thursday night. In 2020, we're repeating those. So 2 sessions. If you can't make it to 1, it's going to be held again with the exact same moderator. Again, great assortment of topics covering the whole gamut of horseshoeing, but also some top practitioners in there moderating these. So bring your questions when you find it, and you're going to find out that a lot of other farriers are kind of struggling through the same issues, have the same questions, and I think a lot of people will find these roundtables to be possibly their greatest highlight and well worth the price of admission of attending the International Hoof-Care Summit. Friday will begin at 8:30 a.m. on January 24th with 5 more classrooms. These breakouts will be at the Duke Energy Center. All the classroom sessions, all the general sessions are at the Duke Energy Center. And then that will be followed by Hayden Price, Steve Kraus, Mike Savaldi, Sammy Pittman, and Nick Denson, rounding out the lineup of the general sessions of the International Hoof-Care Summit. And something we've added a few years ago are closing notes from a farrier, and I think this is one of the more inspirational topics, so you definitely want to stay to the end on Friday. Make that time. And this year, I'm thrilled we have Danvers Child to deliver that session. So a couple of things about the hotel. Again, the Hilton Netherland Hotel is our host hotel. The Hyatt Regency next door to it is the Overflow Hotel. You want to make your reservations as soon as possible. If you haven't done it, get to it now because you're going to miss out. These hotels do sell out. And just to give you a heads up, in previous years, some people have stayed at the Millennium Hotel directly across the street from the Duke Energy Center. If you want to do it this year, bring a crowbar because it's closing down on January 1st. They will be closed for business and reopening as a new hotel sometime in 2021. When you come to the International Hoof-Care Summit, of course, we're talking about the hotel. To register, if you've already registered or if you need to buy your registration at the summit, you enter the Duke Energy Center and you go to the second floor. And it'll be apparent where we are once you come up those escalators to that second floor. Encouraging you again, before I go to the Q&A, make sure you book those hotel rooms so you don't miss out. It's not just about being there for the roundtables. It's not about getting the great room rates by mentioning the International Hoof-Care Summit. I think the key to staying at the hotel is it opens you up for so many more networking opportunities, and those really you just can't put a price on. So with that, I'm going to get to the Q&A. I want to thank everybody here for joining us this evening. And as a first question, I'm only interested in coming to the summit for one day. Do I pay the full rate? No, in fact, we do have a day-only rate. It doesn't provide you all the sessions. This will only give you access for that day, but we do have a one-day rate of $179. If I miss sessions, will they be recorded? Yes. As a full attendee of the International Hoof-Care Summit, you will have access to videos after the summit. So all the general sessions and all the classrooms you'll have access to. We don't record the roundtables though. So make sure you pick the ones that you want to attend because you won't have access to the other ones. Parking. That's always a good session or a good question is how do you find parking around there? There are some lots. There's an open lot. So if you're bringing your shoeing rig, you'll want to park in the lot directly across from the Duke Energy Center on 5th Street if you need a lot of clearance. Otherwise, there's several parking garages. One is immediately south of the Hilton Netherland Hotel. One is immediately north of the Duke Energy Center, and also that complex directly across the street on the south side of the Duke Energy Center does provide street parking. All right, we'll go through some more of these questions. Trade show only. Yes, we do have trade show only access. Again, that won't get you into any of the sessions, but it does get you into the exhibitors to tour the trade show. Okay, mentioned that the preferred hotel. I do recommend that you do uh, try to register, get your hotel at the Hilton Netherland. The Hyatt will be the overflow, but again, all the round tables are going on there. Okay, other events going on at the International Hoof-Care Summit. There's two in particular. On Wednesday night, the American Association of Professional Farriers has their annual meeting, and that will be in the Hilton Netherland Hotel on the third floor, and that will begin at 7:30. The American Farriers Association, if you're interested in taking the written exam, will be holding that at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. So if you need more information about taking the written exam, please do so by visiting the AFA site or giving Martha a call at the AFA office. All right, fair question. The elevators have always been a bit of a trouble. Does happen in older hotels. The last we checked, the elevators are all in working order at the Hilton, but do bear in mind that's a multi-level hotel, and all the um, I guess the high points of traffic are going on at the same time with the round tables. That so hopefully they'll all still be working at the Netherland Hotel when we're there. All right, we have time for a few more questions. And okay, here's one. Yes, the International Hoof-Care Summit is approved for continuing education credits. You will get 27 credits through the AAPF, the American Association of Professional Farriers. Also, if you're a veterinarian, we have been approved by the State of Ohio Veterinary Board. So what you'll want to do, and there will be instructions in the program, is Ohio does have a reciprocity agreement with many other states. And so to get your veterinary credits, we can help you with that. Okay, and there's no other questions. I'll wrap this up. Certainly feel free to call us here in the office at any time. We're happy to take your questions. If you have uh, any questions about getting to Cincinnati, if you want to know some of the great restaurants in the area, you want some personal advice on what sessions might help you best, if you're looking for people to network with, we're happy to help. And you can call us here in the office at 262-782-4480. If you have questions for me, just ask for Jeremy and I'd be happy to answer those questions. And again, the International Hoof-Care Summit in 2020 will be January 21st through 24th in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Duke Energy Center. The host hotel is the Hilton Netherland. Book your room again ASAP because it's going to fill up, and I'd hate for you to miss out on some of those networking opportunities and chances to chat with other farriers. You never know who your hero is going to be at one of these things. The sessions, we put a lot of work into it to put together a great agenda, but it's really those lifelong contacts you're going to make in the hallways that makes a difference for you and your practice. So I'm very appreciative of the confidence you've placed in us in our program. I see a lot of names on here of people who've been here before, and we don't take that lightly. So we look forward to seeing you in Cincinnati. Again, ihcs2020.com, and have a great night. Look forward to seeing you.